Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome back to the Early Edge presented by BetMGM. It's a beautiful Saturday. The ponies are racing. It's a big day. We got the MLB, we got the ponies, we got Belmont, and we got some NBA to talk about for tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to get us strapped up with some early plays for tomorrow. Before we get into all of it, let's take a look back at yesterday. Great day in baseball. Shout out Matt Snyder. Shout out Mike McClure here. Not our favorite day in golf, but we move on. And Buckets keeps us grounded there with the green check marks in soccer. We love to see it. All right, let's just get right into it. We got stars to bring it in today. We got Amags as usual, and we got Gene here to talk about the racing with us today. Big day with the Belmont Stakes here. Gene, for people like me who don't follow racing too well, tell me a little bit about what this race is like, maybe compared to something like the Kentucky Derby. What's at stakes here today?
Well, the Belmont Stakes is traditionally the last leg of the Triple Crown. Sometimes we have horses going for the Triple Crown. This year, we don't. It's traditionally held at Belmont Park outside of New York City. But however, this year, because of construction at Belmont Park, it has moved upstate to Saratoga Racecourse in Saratoga Springs, New York. The Belmont Stakes will be run there next year as well. And if you've never been to Saratoga Racecourse, it is a gem. It is one of the best sporting venues in the country. And today is one of the best betting days of the year for horse racing, arguably the second best day behind the Breeders' Cup in November, even better than Kentucky Derby Saturday. I'm celebrating with my Saratoga Springs button down and excited and ready to go.
I'm pumped up too. That got me excited. The best day to bet in racing. And I see Zach, can't believe I forgot this in the chat, mentioning the Stanley Cup today. Of course, my Florida Panthers, the Fort Lickerdale Panthers, I'd like to call them. It's Catter Day down here in South Florida. So very exciting. That game is going to be awesome as well. We do have some baseball to get into today as well. Amags also playing a baseball game today. Shout out to our athlete, Amags. He's just practicing what he preaches here. We love to see it. Let's talk about the games today, Amags. What do we got going on?
All right, Kenz. Yeah, it's an exciting day. And to the point of the Belmont, real quick, a very exciting day in upstate New York. And if you're going up there and you're up there this weekend, one of my favorite things to do is to get there early in the morning, get yourself a couple egg sandwiches, sit there and watch some of the training and whatnot. One of the best things you could do, totally free, get in. So that little nugget right there to start the day off for you. But yeah, some baseball, and I think there's some exciting games here. I got the Yankee hat on. We lost a tough game last night there, but I do have a play on that game. But first, I'm going to get this one out because I did see it was moving. I want to get it out as fast as possible. Yordan Alvarez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. It was minus 125. I think it's around minus 130 or so, but it's kind of flying up a little bit. So you've heard me talk about Tyler Anderson before. I've written it on the website, different picks and whatnot. I think he is a major regression candidate. Every start I say this, and he still outperforms. You know what? I'm going to keep betting against him. I think you have to. And with Alvarez, the number has come all the way back from where it was yesterday at 2.5 on this same line. And it's a very reasonable price, even at minus 130. So I think you have to play it. He's actually been a reverse splits guy, so a little bit better against lefties. And Anderson, you guys, it's a guy that I want to target. So I don't mind taking all the Astros if you want to against him. But I do think if you're going to pick one, it's going to be Alvarez at a good price here. Also like the over on total bases. The second pick I'm going to go to, I already mentioned, the Yankees game, Nestor Cortez. And I put this one out on the website. It's moved a little bit, but I think it's still at a playable price because we're getting 17.5 here. It's Nestor Cortez under 17.5 outs against the Dodgers. He's pitching at home here in Yankee Stadium. So obviously not the easiest park to pitch in, but he's been much better at home actually than on the road. I think it's probably more of a sample size thing. And being, in the start of the year and whatnot, not having a ton of starts at home versus on the road, look at a bigger body of work and you kind of see that this number at 17.5 is only there because of, quite truthfully, just a little run that he had where it was 6 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings, 6 innings. He's not really that pitcher to get super deep into games against this lineup. I think this number should be 16.5, not 17.5. So I am totally okay with betting the under. I actually still think the Yankees might look fine in this game. Last night was a tough loss, and I do think they bounce back. Juan Soto probably in the lineup. But I just don't think you can bank on Cortez getting a full 6 innings, especially at the price we got on the website earlier.
I like it. We're typically an over crew, but sometimes you got to look out for the unders here. Regression to the mean. I'm all about that as well. If you want to place any of these picks, you can do so at our partners over at BetMGM. And we have a new promo code for you guys as well. We are looking at some NHL odds boosts here. This is what we got going on. BetMGM has an NHL odds boost offer every game day to sweeten the pot. BetMGM customers will receive a 50% odds boost token for any NHL bet on the Stanley Cup final game days. Must be a minimum odds of -300 or greater. You can log into the BetMGM app for the offer details over there. So we got the NHL going on here. Before we get into the rest of our picks, I know we got some ponies to get to. We got some NBA to get to. Let's hear a word from one of our partners.
Wake up to football highlights and news from around the world with the one and only Morning Footy team.
Rise and shine, football fans. Welcome to Morning Footy.
Start your all-day football craze with Morning Footy, part of the all-new Golazo Network.
All right, I know Gene's the star of the show here today, so I'm just going to rip through some of my picks for tomorrow before we get into the races and all the good stuff we got going on there. So I'm going to take us into tomorrow talking about game 2. If anyone's been following along on Twitter, the Derricks were not great to me. The Derricks were not great. Derek Lively was not great. Derek Jones was not great. Derek White did not score the first basket. But you know what? You can't win them all. But we're going back to Lively here, and we're going with his rebounds. We're going over 6.5 rebounds here. He was on pace to hit this. He was at 5 rebounds with 18 minutes. He just fouled out of the game. I'm going to take my chances here, take my shot at plus money that he won't be fouling out again. I think they realize how important he is in this lineup. When he gets the minutes he needs, he is going over this number. When he's playing 23 plus minutes, if you look back into this entire postseason, he's gone over this in 6 of his 7 games when he's playing 23 plus minutes. So again, he's such an important part to this team. I do not think he'll be fouling out again. I think we will be getting the appropriate minutes. You could tell that they wanted to be using him instead of Gafford. Obviously, their hands were tied, so that's why we saw some Daniel Gafford in there. But I do think this is a lively series at the end of the day. So I like that. At plus money at BetMGM, you can find him to go over 6.5 rebounds. I think we get to 7. And I just added this play about 30 seconds before the show, but we're going with Kyrie Irving here to go over 2.5 3-pointers made. Look, at some point, a really good shooter is going to have to make wide open threes. He's just going to have to do it. The SportsLine model puts him at 3-pointers made, and he's averaging fewer on the road, yes, than at home, but at around plus money, around even money, he's still hitting this over 54% of the time. The volume has been there this playoffs. The volume has been there the past few games. Again, getting wide open looks. The regression to the mean for someone like him is to start hitting your shots, to start hitting your wide open threes. So I think nonetheless, how the game script goes, I think the volume will be here, and I think we can land 3-pointers from Mr. Kyrie Irving here. It's a comeback spot for him. It cannot get much worse than it did the last night. Was it last night? 2 nights ago. Yeah. Could not get much worse than that. All right. So we're primed and prepped for the NBA tomorrow. Let's bring it back to today, Gene. Let's talk about the horses. Very exciting stuff here. I'm going to let you run through everything you got. We'll start with your winner here. What do you got for us?
All right. So for the Belmont Stakes today, I wish I could be more creative, but my pick is going to be Sierra Leone, the favorite. He's 9-5 on the morning line. He is basically 2 noses away from being a perfect 5 for 5 in his career. We all saw what happened 5 weeks ago at the Kentucky Derby. At the top of the stretch, he came powerfully with his late kick, started coming down the lane. Then he started bumping Forever Young on his inside. That actually cost both of them a chance to win the Kentucky Derby, and Sierra Leone lost by a scant nose to Mystic Dan. Sierra Leone actually ran 23 feet farther than Mystic Dan that day and would have won had he been able just to keep a straight line. The lugging in has been a problem for Sierra Leone, so trainer Chad Brown has made 2 changes. Number 1, he has changed the bit on the horse. It's basically the mouthpiece that gives the jockey control. This new cage bit will allow the jockey a little bit more control, just like power steering gives you a little bit more control over your car. And 2, they made a jockey switch from Tyler Gaffalione to Flavian Pratt. Pratt and trainer Chad Brown win at 21% when they're paired together. Those are usually on grass horses, but that's still a very healthy percentage. He always comes with his late run. So assuming these changes work, I fully expect Sierra Leone to be there. And another big thing about Saturday is that as opposed to the Kentucky Derby, when he was 18th early on and had to pass 17 horses, today at the Belmont Stakes, he will only have to pass at the most 9 horses. That alone could be worth several lengths. So I fully expect Sierra Leone to cross the finish line first on Saturday. Now, my long shot in the Belmont Stakes, and I got to admit, I'm wedded to this horse from 5 weeks ago, because in the Kentucky Derby, I thought Honor Marie was going to run well. He's now 12-1 in the Preakness Stakes, but in the in the Belmont Stakes, but in the Kentucky Derby 5 weeks ago, he lost all chance at the start of that race when he was bumped hard. He was basically ping-ponged and then forced all the way back to the back of the pack, 20th of 20 horses. He had no business finishing 8th in the Kentucky Derby after that start, yet he did. And that performance is better than it looks like on paper. Since then, he's put in 3 workouts for the Belmont Stakes. Trainer Whit Beckman says he's been doing so well that he actually considered running him in the Preakness Stakes 3 weeks ago, decided to go against that and run in the Belmont Stakes. And the trainer says he's been doing just as well going into the Belmont Stakes as he did in the Kentucky Derby. Assuming he gets out of the starting gate cleanly this time, I really expect to see the real Honor Marie this afternoon. So my final play is basically going to be a straight exacta. It's going to be Sierra Leone over Honor Marie. And an exacta, just for those of you who don't know, is basically picking the top 2 horses in the correct order. So we're going to go Sierra Leone 1, Honor Marie 2. And there's no reason to box it. There's no reason to play it the other way around with Honor Marie over Sierra Leone. Just play a straight exacta, Sierra Leone over Honor Marie in today's Belmont Stakes.
All right. I like to hear that I didn't realize the horses put in workouts in between. I like to hear they're again a quick pump in between the big races. That's pretty awesome. Hey, Max, what do you got?
So a couple things real quick. One, I have to address that I'm being yelled at by the chat. The chat wants a pick on the London game. I don't have a pick on the London game, but I will say this. I saw that my buddy Propstars, hopefully he's okay with me saying this, he was on the over 15.5 outs. I do like the over 15.5 outs, but keep a few things in mind that it is, as Zach Phelps already mentioned in the chat, a little bit of a smaller field, the dimensions with, everything else in play. It does seem to have a lot of variance in my opinion. Also coming off of being hit in the hand, Ranger Suarez, not exactly sure how deep he goes. So just be careful with that game. Maybe sit this one out or play some stuff for fun. Don't go too deep. And then secondly, Gene, I love those picks. I was on Sierra Leone for the Derby. I thought that that horse was honestly the best in the race, truthfully, and really just right there, just didn't get fully up. And then secondly, Honor Marie, I don't have a huge opinion, but a buddy of mine before the Derby texted me like 10 minutes before and was like, bet the 7, which I'm pretty sure was Honor Marie, correct? And pretty sharp guy. The horse didn't perform as you mentioned, but I do think that it is a solid pick there to come back. So there you go. Have a happy Saturday.
Yeah. Seems like the sharps are all on the same page here, which we like to see. I'll add in a little 2 cents here talking about the NHL in the chat. I'm not a huge NHL person, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to spend your money on the NHL, but I do work for all the data and all the simulations here at SportsLine, so I do know what the model value has. As far as the series, we actually like the Oilers. We give them a 52% chance to take home the series. So with that, we like the plus money value that they have. As a Fort Lauderdale girl, it hurts me to say, but that is what the numbers say. And that is because when you look at the home ice advantage for Florida, it basically washes out. They literally play better on the road. They have a better goal differential on the road. So we kind of take that out of account. When you look at the Oilers, they have been dominating on the road this playoffs, this postseason. They've been playing really well on the road. So that kind of starts to be what gives them the edge in the spot when you wash out some of the home ice advantage for the Panthers. So in the series, we do like the Oilers. And we had a pretty awesome round last round. We guessed in the correct amount of games and we guessed the correct winners for the conference finals. So not to pat myself on the back, but that's one for the data team for the numbers. All right. Plenty of stuff we got through today. Let's take a quick look at the recap screen, see what we got going on here. Amags is on Yordan Alvarez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and Nestor Cortez under 17.5 outs. I'm looking at Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Derek Lively over 6.5 rebounds. You can get that up plus 110 at BetMGM, and Kyrie Irving over 2.5 3-pointers made. Gene's taking us to the Belmont Stakes here with the winner, Sierra Leone, a long shot winner, Honor Marie, and an exacta of Sierra Leone with Honor Marie to follow. So lots we got going on today. We're hitting all kinds of sports. We love to see it. Love to see the engagement in the chat as well. Hit that like button for us if you haven't already. Good luck with your bets. Let's pay for some drinks this weekend, and we will see you guys on Monday.